Mickey Mouse ears on top of the YouTube logo.
Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto. Celebrate the power of love. Y Familia. Coming to Casey's Center November 27th through 30th. Tickets on sale now. Visit DisneyOnIce.com today.
That was good timing. See, center is green when the Wild plays. Pretty cool. Party.
I had 3 of those on Friday night.
Jeez.
Great.
How are you feeling?
Murph, you got one of those Zins going right now?
No, it's a pimple.
What's up? I'm Jake Bren with Bigger Than 12, joined by my co-host Derek Duke, where every Sunday we break down the Big 12 Conference.
We'll recap the full day in the Big 12 and look ahead to next week.
We talk a lot of Iowa State, but it's not just Cyclones. We go from Morgantown to Salt Lake City and everywhere in between. Be sure to check out Bigger Than 12 every Sunday here on Iowa Everywhere.
Well, now I'm self-conscious. Thanks, Andy.
I just know that you're a fan of those now. I thought maybe you had one go on the show.
Those are, what are those called?
Zin. Yeah, the ones with the nicotine.
No, the
Whip.
Whip.
Yeah,
Whip.
that's the caffeine one. No, I thought you were liking both of them, actually.
No, I'm going.
Murph and Andy talking sports and more exclusively on Iowa Everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, here are Keith Murphy and Andy Fales.
Welcome to Murph and Andy here on a Monday. I'm already self-conscious. I was wondering if you could see this stress pimple. And Andy asked me if I had a dip of Skull or Zin in. So, yeah.
That's not why I asked. That's not why I asked. I'm sorry that I drew attention to that. But now I can see it, though. And Sipker showed us how to do it on Friday. Just put that microphone right there.
Yep. You know, this,
we won't know.
You know what happened to me?
Did you get a bump? Did you bump?
No, pizza burn. No, I'm kidding. No, that was you.
Yeah, that was me. I was going to say, I just had one of those things. It was bad. You can still see it. Look at that.
Man,
that
that's
scar.
like a second-degree burn.
It definitely was a second-degree burn. It blistered and everything. It was awful. It was what made it awful is having to put makeup on it for TV.
Ooh. Yeah, because then the healing is slower.
You're going to have to do that today.
I know. And in the process of moving here, I can't find my undershirt. So a little chest hair for the ladies today. I'm not sure where they are. We are mostly unpacked, starting to put the office together, making some progress
looks
there.
Good. Looks good.
Yeah, can you see you and Hassel and Williams? But oddly, I'm covering myself up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how about that?
Ironic.
It's very modest.
Well, it's perfect because your head is right where your head is supposed to be on the picture.
I got just a bobblehead,
just a little bigger
on top of that. So progress being made, and I'll find my undershirts by Wednesday. Hopefully,
that's part of moving, though. I mean, you think you've got everything moved, and then there's like one key thing, probably per day for a while that you can't find.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a process. Jenny took today off again. She has worked so hard. So I appreciate that. Also, we got in our email, Andy, you're on YouTube TV, correct? Or no?
I'm on YouTube all the time, but no, we do not have
TV.
YouTube TV.
Okay.
I've got DirecTV.
And
although our kids use YouTube more than the DirecTV. I mean, it's always on the big TVs.
And it is confusing that there's YouTube, where many people are watching us right now, and YouTube TV. I've had this conversation with so many people like, I can watch on YouTube TV, or I can watch on YouTube, and I'll say yes, and then they'll come back at me next time I see them or make a point to contact me. Well, I couldn't find it on YouTube, and it turns out they're talking about YouTube TV, which is kind of like DirecTV or satellite or cable used to be. AD, you are not YouTube TV?
No, Hulu Live over here.
Okay, so I am on YouTube TV, and they're having this big dispute. Chris Williams did an entire podcast on the YouTube TV Disney carrier dispute because a lot of people right now aren't getting college football games. They're not getting Monday Night Football. They're not getting their ABCs and not only that, YouTube TV takes down your library too. Like if you had an old ESPN game, Andy, what are you doing?
There is somebody rolling by my house very slowly taking photographs. And,
oh, man, okay.
I thought maybe they were somebody doing that for like the Polk County Assessor's page, but then they didn't stop at the next two houses. So they just kept on going. I'm not a paranoid person, but
I could see your head was like all over the place.
They
like what is going on? Do we have an active robbery?
Really, really stopped. Now they're coming back. We have a cul-de-sac here, so there's always something to watch as people turn in thinking that the street goes through, even though there's a giant not a through street sign out at the end. So now she's coming back down, and my house is the only one that she took a picture of. What's going on?
What is going on?
I'm sorry about that. It was
no.
Weird.
I get it.
I do love having this big window out in front of my house. I can kind of look out there during the show. It makes me feel like so much more part of the world rather than we go into the TV station and we'll be kind of shut inside for a while, and you have to kind of go find the windows. It's nice to have the window. Anyway, I digress.
I purposely keep myself where I can't see any windows because I'm easily distracted. So I'm trying to just stay focused here. But YouTube TV, so the dispute with Disney, again, Chris Williams did a good podcast on this last week. It's a dispute that's keeping many people from being able to watch mostly sports. That's what brings most people to the screens these days, and they're not getting their college football, they're not getting their NFL football, they're not getting pregame, postgame shows, debate shows, all of that. So YouTube TV, in what looks like a dispute that's not going to be settled anytime soon because it's usually football or the NCAA tournament that settles these because somebody blinks right before there's a big game that's on. But in this case, this is happening mid-season. So YouTube TV sent us an email. We got it today, and it says we're going to be credited $20 since we don't have any of the ABC, ESPN products. But do you think YouTube TV just credits our account $20? No. They make you fill a form out and send it in because many people won't do that.
Yeah.
And then they'll pocket that money. It's kind of like gift cards at Christmas. What is the figure, Andy? Like 40% don't get used?
I think it might be higher than that. I think it might be like 60%. It's crazy.
So they know some people won't open their emails.
Yeah.
Some people won't take the time. Some people will forget, and they will pocket additional millions of dollars that they won't have to refund. When for many people, especially sports fans, they have YouTube TV in part so that they can get all of ESPN and all of its sports products, ABC to another extent. So let's get a quickie poll here from WCI Pools and Spas.
Who do you blame more in the latest carriage dispute? Is it Disney or YouTube TV?
I'm not going to make the same mistake I did a couple of weeks ago and be on Disney's side. I think everybody hates Disney now, like everybody. So I'm blaming Disney for this.
Taking the populist opinion, I think it is Disney. I think it's.
I don't like this. I don't like the stuff that Disney's been doing lately. So I truly feel this way.
I feel this way too because I think Disney is trying to force people to buy its new streaming service and platform. And I think it really sucks that they made their talent go out there and do one of these pitches. And I credit Pat McAfee for going on the air on ESPN and saying, don't do that. Don't go out there and tell people to visit the website to try to tell these billion-dollar companies that are fighting with each other which side you're on. Don't do it. But most importantly, as a company, don't tell your talent they have to go on there and give some statement they don't actually believe in, but in many cases they feel like they have to.
And they all do it, right? They all do it. They all make their minions
Don't do that.
carry their water for them in these giant corporate disputes, which are corporate disputes, right? I mean, really, it doesn't trickle down to the local level. We don't feel that here. They sign a new deal, make more money. We don't see any of that windfall. And this happens over and over and over again. We've all been through this exercise before, and we all know probably how long it's going to take. I mean, they're going to push each other as far as they possibly can, right up against something that is absolutely a gigantic piece of leverage, some broadcast that everybody wants to see and never would dream that they couldn't see, right? And you're going to push them right up against that point, and that will make people really raise the alarm and start getting upset. And that'll make them actually go to the negotiating table and figure something out.
I think we do, because this has impacted my life. I think we do quickly find out that we can fill the space with other things. It's like when a pro league goes on strike and you think, I can still live my life without these games. I use a lot of ESPN and lesser extent ABC products, but it's a couple of weeks now and I've managed it. Now that might change if a game, like say the Oregon-Iowa game had been on an ESPN product. Well, now we got a problem. I'm sure I would go somewhere to watch it, but that's the kind of thing that motivates somebody, and we'll see if there is that big thing that gets everybody going at once. Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for today's sports and more. Death of a Dream, Cyclones return, and Elitist Hassel, all coming up on the show today. Guest House Tavern with nightly specials, including Kentucky Fried Tuesdays. That's fried chicken and sides, and half off select bourbon and whiskey pours. Now, high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Heard from Tim Hawkins this morning, just pointing out just the overwhelming evidence that investing in the U.S. stock market has been just such a windfall for Americans for so long. And the power of your dollar is so much greater when it's invested than when it's just sitting in cash. And he can show you exactly how that can be done, how he can do it for you. Look them up at wealthcharterretirement.com. I had a great weekend. It went just exactly as I thought it was going to go. I didn't have a whole lot of plans. I got everything done on Friday, settled in, watched football on Saturday. Couldn't go outside, just couldn't go outside. The weather was awful. So we just stayed in and watched football. Watching Iowa, Oregon, that's the game that we watched. We recorded the Iowa State game. Watched that later. But we're watching. It was just really funny because the kids are kind of in and out. They're sort of paying attention, not really.
Not really.
But at one point, Chris comes on the air, and it's during a Jimmy John's spot, and they had kind of no frame of reference, and we're like, "There's Chris," and they both start jumping around. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, wow, there he is. When I take their picture and I sent it to him and everything, and then Elon's like, I didn't know he worked for Jimmy John's.
Like
he had lost his job in Florida and he was just selling sandwiches. And
he works for Jimmy John's?
He works for Jimmy John's now? I was like, well, sort of. I mean, I guess it was kind of in on that. But it was fun to see him there and just hear from all the people that were at that Iowa game. And, you kind of felt like you got to participate without actually having to participate and stand out in that awful weather all day. I watched it from the warmth of my couch.
Elin already has the hand on hip pose.
Oh yeah. She's also wearing that
UNI
sweatshirt. I don't know where she got that, but I can't wait till she outgrows it, gets rid of it.
Hassel just throwing Jimmy John's subs around Iowa City in the rain. What a memory that is. I'm going. I thought it was a high, but it kind of turned into a low. So Chris Williams has a book coming out right now, and I was excited about it, in part because it's such an accomplishment to write a book. I can't imagine doing it, but also because Chris said I was going to have a spot on the cover, and I thought, well, that's really nice. That's flattering. But the cover, I've seen the cover now, and it's hard to even notice anything but shirtless Williams going full fanatic here on the cover. So that's a low. I think it overshadows everything else on the.
Is that hair
cover.
all over his arms, like the undersides of his arms? I can't.
Yeah, there's hair everywhere. He's so full of tea. He's growing hair, not just on his knuckles.
Why isn't that growing on his
underarms,
head?
His elbows have hair. Everywhere but his head. Everywhere but his head.
Okay, let's get some manscaping equipment sponsoring Iowa Everywhere ASAP.
Let's
Razors,
catch
clippers.
The buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Logier Heating and Cooling solutions to Des Moines area families for more than a century. Well, let's start in Iowa City where Chris Hassel was. The playoff dreams die in the rain at Kinnick Stadium. What was it Rutger Hauer said in Blade Runner? Something about like tears in the rain.
I don't remember.
So Iowa got the game it wanted. Kirk Ferentz said that after the game. He's like, this is the game we wanted. We had it where we wanted. It was an old-fashioned Big Ten slugfest, low-scoring game, but Oregon made more plays, and Iowa made too many mistakes. Mm-hmm. So it goes Oregon's way. Yeah,
and it was a really entertaining game to watch. I mean, it wasn't a high-scoring affair, but
dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, there was
passionate.
Some of it was entertaining because we had such a stake in it, right? I mean, I don't know that the rest of the country was as riveted as we were. First of all, it's coming on the heels of that Indiana-Penn State game, which was just incredible.
Where Gus Johnson just lost his mind, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 settings, like off, normal human being, and cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
But even for him, he was just, he didn't even talk. He was just freaking out. But
yeah, dogs were running down the street trying to find the noise.
Oh, yeah, my dogs. Yeah, they were barking and hid under the furniture. But so it's coming on the heels of that. But, you know, it just had ebbs and flows to it, right? I mean, you saw Iowa start slow, but then figure things out. And, you know, it just kind of evolved, that whole game did. And, you know, I really wanted Iowa to win the game, but I'm not an Iowa fan, so I'm not watching the same way that Andrew is or Hassel is. But I really came away feeling like Iowa played about as well as you can play in that situation. I mean, Oregon is just way more talented than Iowa is. They've got one of the top 5 coaches in college football. I mean, Dan Lanning is a great coach.
And Oregon was down several offensive starters.
They were really, really injured. But, I mean, you looked at the stat sheet going into the game and you realized that, okay, that team has a whole bunch of receivers that can hurt you, and they have a whole bunch of running backs that could hurt you. They have so many running backs participating in that offense during that game. It was almost hard to memorize the names because they were switching off so much, but all 3 of them were really effective. And it's, you know, that's just something that kind of runs counterintuitive to the way that you've watched Iowa football for so long. I mean, to see a team like that you would absolutely consider like a West Coast offense, passing first offense, able to run the ball on a Phil Parker defense that effectively, and that was kind of eye-opening, and let you know that, you know, Oregon is truly talented, because not just any team can go do that in Kinnick Stadium.
Right. Averaged 7.3 yards a carry against Iowa's vaunted defense. And Iowa played hard. The crowd did everything it could. The weather conditions were miserable, but scenic on football. The setting, it just screamed Big Ten. And I got to give Oregon some credit here. You think of those crazy alternate uniforms. They have like 100 different uniforms. You think of the Nike money. You think of the duck mascot that's appeared in commercials, and none of it screams old-fashioned Big Ten football. But they came in there and
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. But they came in there and they were physical. They were not intimidated by Iowa. They ran the football in the rain. They passed a few times when they needed to. they look like a Big Ten football team on this day. They didn't look like the high-flying Oregon Ducks that run and shoot all over the field. They ran the football down Iowa's throat, and Iowa played a pretty good game, but did make a couple of crucial mistakes. Long snapper had a rough day. Could have been worse. I mean, Reese Dakin made an amazing catch on, like a fingertip catch on a punt snap. That was the first one. He also made a play that when you watched it on replay, you're like, how? He just barely kicked that ball out of the end zone. He missed it a couple of times.
Took a couple swipes at it, yeah.
And then it worked out, and then you had the penalty. You're like, what's going on there? Caden Weegan had a crucial fumble. I mean, at a really bad time. So let's get into the nostalgia rewind here. We'll get into some of these plays specifically of the Iowa-Oregon game, brought to you by Nostalgia THC Fruit Seltzer. Oregon took a 9-0 lead early in the second quarter, but then Iowa's offense settled in and answered.
Here's Gronowski on a play fake handoff, has a man open, throws, caught 10-yard line, at the 5, down to the 3. It'll be first and goal thanks to Jacob Gill, and a beautiful throw by Mark Gronowski. Here's Gronowski, throws, caught, touchdown! Touchdown Iowa! Touchdown DJ Vanami!
Vanami! That's Gary Dolphin, voice of the Hawkeyes, courtesy of Learfield. So it's, what's the score? It's 9-7 at that point. And
whole different ball game.
A different ball game, and Gronowski showing the ability to pass the ball in the rain, which can be difficult. Oregon was able to do it too.
I was shocked at how well they were able to throw. Everybody was able to throw the ball in the rain. I mean, the officials had to have like a guy who's his main job was just keeping the ball dry until the snap, and they did a pretty good job with that evidently, but I don't know whether it's the gloves or just the hand strength that they have now. It didn't seem. There were times where I was like, maybe it's not raining that hard, and then they would pan up to the lights, and you're like, oh my God, there's sheets of rain coming down. It's really raining hard.
Big hands certainly help when throwing the ball in the rain like that. But Oregon gets a field goal before the half, so it's 12-7 at the break. In the third quarter, the Hawkeyes drive into the red zone, but the Weegan fumble ends the drive, and Oregon kicks another field goal. So it's 8 points. And that Weegan fumble was one of many things that went to replay that they got it right on replay. Yeah. There was one replay, I'm not remembering what it is now, where like Lanning had to call a timeout to bring attention to it.
Yeah,
and he was right. He was right to call a timeout.
Was that a catch that was made? Yeah, because they were going to move on without it, and he had to call a timeout. Then they reviewed it, overturned it, and gave him the timeout back.
AD, do you remember which play that was?
I don't.
I watched you and Todd Brommelkamp on Instant Iowa. It was nice of Todd to step in there and do a good job. Would have been a different show if it had gone the other way. But
and it was one of those where like it's so close to the end. So I've got like two different, like how am I going to intro this show?
Right.
And I mean, I don't, we go right away. And so it's like, hey, as soon as that field goal goes through, we're hitting live, and it was. Yeah,
and you're still processing your emotions as a longtime fan.
Absolutely.
But
yes.
You got to talk
like
at the same time.
Going through it live. But it does make me, it's like therapy, and I kind of get everything out. I digest it. I deal with it. And I feel a lot better after bad losses doing Instant Iowa than I did before I had that show, because it'd just be in my head and I'd just be sitting with it and stewing on it. Now I actually get it out and so I'm okay today.
Yeah, because as a man, sometimes you want to be like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm fine.
Oh yeah, that's my instinct.
Leave me here.
Yeah, and then you just sit and stew. You stew on it, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my God, I still have to talk about that, and then it just drags on. If you get it out of the way right away, it's better.
On Iowa's next possession, Drew Stevens attempts a long field goal in the rain.
Well, Drew Stevens is going to try a field goal from 58 yards out. He's got a nice breeze at his back. Let's see. Here's the kick. Line drive. Good.
This surprised me, not just because of the weather conditions, but I immediately thought back to Penn State. I'm sure many people did, and the disaster that happened there. And I think we said, well, this assures that Kirk Ferentz isn't going to try another long field goal in a close game like that because that was a disaster. But he does try it again, and that had another 5 yards on it.
Was that a 63-yard field goal that he tried against Penn State?
64, I think. Yeah,
64.
63 or 4. Yeah,
that's considerably longer. But I mean, he had done it before, so I wasn't surprised that he tried this one. It lets you know that he really truly feels like he can kick those extremely long field goals most of the time.
And it was 4th and 5 against a good defense.
Yeah, and Oregon's kicker had been kicking long field goals, so it seemed like it proven that the conditions were not so bad that you couldn't do that at that point. But again, I mean, that was just something that kind of flies in the face of common sense. You're like, oh my God, these guys are trying these long field goals. It seems like just the rain would just beat the ball down to the point where it couldn't make it through the uprights. But yeah, you're right. That had plenty of leg.
Down 5, Iowa puts together a drive of beauty. 12 plays, 93 yards.
4th down and goal. Game on the line. Gronowski's going to run for it. Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa! Oh, deception is still the best. There was a gaping alley for Gronowski to prance into the end zone off the right side. Great job by the O-line. The Hawks have the lead.
Yeah, Gronowski with his, 12th rushing touchdown. That's an Iowa record for quarterbacks.
Yeah, one in every game. I think that's a Big Ten record, nine through 9 games.
Yeah, he's been such a good running quarterback, and he had a couple of crucial passes on that.
That long pass that was to Vanami, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that long pass, I mean, he was underthrown, but I mean, he still hit him.
He was so open, there was busted coverage there.
Yeah, but I mean, I the first thought that went through my head was like, I don't know if the previous 4 Iowa starting quarterbacks could have made that play or would have made that play. I mean, Nate Stanley probably would have seen it, but he would have overthrown him. And the other guys, I just don't think could have made that play or stayed alive long enough to make that play. I mean, forget how the pass looked. I mean, he's first of all, it starts with the pass protection that line gave him. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
Oregon has excellent edge rushers. The Iowa offensive line really pass protected well in that game for the most part. I mean, they gave him a bunch of time, and he, several times made the most of those opportunities, and that was definitely one of them. Bought time, stayed cool, kept looking downfield, was watching to see if his receiver was going to be able to break one-on-one and then get a step, and then went ahead and released it. Got that there, and I mean, I just thought, okay, that is a really big difference between this Iowa team and those that we've seen in the recent past, is that they have a quarterback. They not only have the line that can give that kind of protection because it started there, but they have the quarterback that can do that, and then a receiver that can actually get open like this. I mean, that was just a play that kind of tells you that this has been a different season for Iowa.
What I didn't like was the 2-point call. Iowa's just hasn't been good for years on the 2-point conversions, and
almost worked.
I think on Instant Iowa, they had to replay that, and he was out of bounds. Moulton was out. I think it was Todd Brommelkamp who mentioned this, and I agree with him. Run Gronowski in like a run pass option, or give him the option of running into the end zone, because he's been so good in those goal line situations. But AD, your memory for 2-point conversions probably better than mine, but it seems like Iowa's always passing the football in these 2-point conversions when what they do best is run the football.
Yeah, and they don't do it enough maybe to like have confidence in it, but you're exactly right. Like even last year, they started put Brendan Sullivan in when they're close to the goal line, and then anytime they had a 2-point conversion, they're throwing the ball. Nicholas here says Iowa's 5 for 23 in the last 10 years. Ooh. I don't know that that's exactly the stat, but I've heard stats like that. I think they've missed their last like 8 or 10 several seasons in a row. They've failed to convert a single 2-point conversion. And those are big plays because you need them, and I mean you're inches away from forcing overtime ultimately in that game, or making Oregon go down and try to score a touchdown.
Well, what have you had over the past 10 years? You've had a bunch of quarterbacks that couldn't pass the ball, and then they also couldn't run the ball. So, basically, right? I mean,
but now, Mark Gronowski scores every time he touches the ball inside the 5-yard line, and a lot of times it's like untouched. And I know the other team knows it's coming on a 2-point conversion, but like you guys said, at least give him the option. Yeah, at least make him stop him. I would rather have Gronowski have the ball in his hands in that situation than anybody else on this team.
And now we know the outcome. But what a moment after that 93-yard clutch drive, and the stadium is just electric, and Hawkeye fans watching anywhere think, finally, over the hump, going to win a huge game in a big spot with football fans everywhere watching. It really felt like that. And that was a great moment. I mean, that whole drive, and that's why you watch football, to feel the way you felt after he scored. But it's a 1-point game, and again, both teams are trying to win. And Oregon, you got to give Dante more credit. Man, one of the passes he made downfield, sensational. I mean, it couldn't have been thrown in a tighter window.
That's an NFL quarterback pass. That was incredible. Yeah,
good coverage. Was it Hall that was covering him? I think it was.
Yeah, and there people are saying, why didn't he look back? Man, because he was
he's
totally
right on top of him.
He was completely covered. The guy. Yeah, he felt like
it was just a perfect throw. And yeah, Iowa has a good defense, and you think, as Xavier Wampa said after the game, we're going to win this game because we're going to stop Oregon. But Oregon made more plays, as it turns out, than Iowa. Then they get into field goal range, and Atticus Sappington, what novelist would create this name? Would it be Twain? Would it be...
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be buddies
Sappington.
With Ichabod Crane or somebody. Yeah, I mean,
Atticus Finch.
Yeah. I mean, it's he sounds like somebody that was fought in the Revolutionary War.
Atticus Sappington comes out, and they're tough conditions and a lot of pressure, and not much of a doubter. He kicks it in, and they still had 3 seconds on the clock. They're doing that smart thing where if the snap is bobbled in the rain, you can
timeout.
Yeah, you can call timeout and kick it again.
Yeah, and I was listening to Dan Lanning's post game, and he was talking about how he wants to have all 3 of his timeouts going into the final minute of the game.
I heard that too. I was like, wow.
I was like, whoa. I mean, I can't imagine having that cool of a head when you're down and still feeling like there isn't really any reason to call a timeout until you get inside a minute to play.
But his reasoning is good. His reasoning's good.
Yeah. When it works out, right? I mean, when your team is collected and you're getting the plays called and there's no confusion or anything, then you look like a genius. But I just think that there would be so many times where things were not falling into place that you would just have to call a timeout before 2 minutes, even before the 2-minute timeout. But no, he had those. He controlled the clock really, really well, and just kind of methodically called plays as his team went down the field.
Yeah, one of the things he's trying to do, and he mentioned it in the postgame, he's absolutely right. This is more for the football X's and O's people. But by saving those timeouts, they can still throw to the middle of the field. They can still throw the seam route. They can still go across the middle. They don't have to just work outside the hashes to get out of bounds, which gives the defense a real advantage when okay, they're just in these thirds. They're not coming to the middle, but they still had the middle, and they exploited the middle, and they went on to win 18-16.
I mean, but think about that. They're down at Kinnick Stadium where the place is going absolutely grape nuts.
It is.
It's pouring down rain. Your season is on the line. Oregon's season's really on the line here.
Probably, yeah.
Their quarterback has not played that well, and he still is that confident that he can keep all 3 timeouts.
I know.
And so he's inside the final minute, can still throw to the middle of the field. I mean, if I'm him, I'm like, man, we just got to get some kind of yards anyway. I'm going to call a timeout just to make sure that everybody's, totally on the same page, and then we can dial up one play that we've never played, that can't be beat, that's never been used this year. I mean, I would have been freaking out about it, right? But he's like, no, it's going to work out.
And it did work out. After the game, the Hawkeyes knew they let one get away.
It just hurts, It's a close one. I think that's a game that we can win 9 out of 10 times, and it just didn't happen to go our way tonight. So we had a great week of preparation. I felt like all the guys in the locker room were confident. And yeah, felt like we should have won that one.
Someone has to step up and make a play. It was down to us defensively. We like being in that position, but at the end of the day, we just didn't get the job done.
I thought we had it in the bag, but it's football. They're a really good offense, really good team, and they put together a good drive there at the end of the game. And there's things we could have done better throughout the whole game. And it wasn't just that one drive. That's the reason why we lost. It's not. There are many other things we could have done better to win that football game.
We still have a good team, and we got plenty of football in front of us. So we'll go back, critique this thing, do what we can to see what we can improve on next week, and that'll be the biggest challenge is getting everybody back on their feet here.
Video courtesy David Warrington, WHO 13. And yes, this is where it's so hard because Iowa's losing streak against top 25 teams now stretches out to 12 games, 3 losses this season by a combined 10 points, all 2 at the time ranked teams, good football teams. Had a chance to win all 3, especially feel like you should have beaten Indiana. Certainly had a shot here against Oregon, and also in the Iowa State game with a chance to drive down the field and win that game in Ames. But when it doesn't go your way, you feel like, you could see the meltdown immediately. Like, okay, further proof here. Kirk Ferentz needs to retire. Games passed him by. It's this is how close football can be. I mean, if Atticus Sappington misses that kick, this is universally praised as a great game plan and a nut-up win for the Hawks and one of the biggest wins in Iowa football history. And Kirk Ferentz, great coach, showing why he's a Hall of Famer and the all-time Big Ten winningest coach. It is the old cliche of that's football. I mean, sometimes it goes the other way, and it did in this case. I get fans being frustrated that Iowa seems so close and just can't get over the hump.
Well, I mean, you feel how you feel, but I don't know. It seems to me like if you come away from that game feeling upset at Iowa and the players and the coaches, I feel like your perspective is pretty hard edged. I mean,
you needed instant Iowa therapy. You had to talk it out.
Andrew, did you hear a lot of people that were honestly calling for a coaching change after that or saying that?
I do think there's a level of just kind of this keeps happening, right? And
that's
I felt
the
this,
main point.
I
this
felt
keeps happening.
I felt like this a little bit after this year's Cyhawk game because that was 2 Iowa State games in a row where Iowa got Iowa State to play their style of football, and Iowa State came out winning. And now you add the Indiana and the Oregon game.
I understand that after the Cyhawk game, after Indiana and Oregon, 2 of the top programs in the country, who you gave everything they could possibly take.
Yes,
and they eked
had
out
the
a win,
lead with
found a way to
under
win.
2 minutes to go in both games.
See, and I think some people, and I agree with you guys. I'm not nearly as upset about this as I thought I would be going into the game, or as I was after the Iowa State game, because you tip your. I don't blame anybody on Iowa for this loss. You tip your cap to a team that played a better game, but I do think because of the 12 games in a row against ranked teams, because these are the kind of games that Iowa used to win under Kirk Ferentz and now isn't winning. And again, you forced Indiana and Oregon to come in and play your styles they don't want to play. These teams put up 40, 50 points, and you held them to 20 or less.
Just needed one of them.
And exactly, like, these are the type of games that Kirk Ferentz really built his legacy on winning. You beat Michigan in that, in the rain, and you beat Penn State on a late kick. And like, this is how Iowa beats teams like this. And now you get those teams to play these games. You're right there at the end, and it just doesn't happen. And so it's kind of like the Iowa basketball Sweet 16 thing, where in a vacuum in 1 year, not making the Sweet 16 isn't a terrible thing, but when you add it to the context of everything that's come before it, it just weighs down on you.
I was watching that game and just repeatedly thinking how incredible it is that Kirk Ferentz is after all of these years, all this criticism, all the change that he's had to undergo as a college football coach, that he's still able to get these kind of performances out of his various teams. I mean, that he's still able to be an absolute threat to anybody in that conference, which is arguably the best conference in America this season. They got teams 1 and 2.
And the past 2 national championships.
Yeah. That's amazing. He's doing it in Iowa. His team was barely ranked here, wasn't ranked against Indiana. You have to get a little bit of perspective there and just be like, look, in and of itself this year, this is pretty amazing that we were in this position.
Yeah, it's the accumulation, as AD said, but 85% of the teams in the country didn't have this kind of stress and joy and pain because they weren't playing for the possibility of the college football playoff. Iowa State was in this position last year. Iowa's in this position this year. And when you don't get it done, it really hurts. But most teams aren't in this position. When Iowa plays its bowl game, I don't care how it goes, no Hawkeye fan will be as invested as they were Saturday. I mean, this is the kind of game you live for as a fan. And even when it doesn't come out the way you want, you're fully in. This is the good stuff. It just hurts.
No, I agree. And a lot of this is most of this is my perspective as a non-fan.
Yeah,
but
right.
I just, I think you have to remember who Oregon is, who Indiana is. I mean, to watch Indiana at Penn State, I mean, that team is great, legit great.
Hang on, Andy. Kaylin Robinson called us jackasses.
No, I think she's talking to one of the previous posters who said.
Okay, I hope so.
Who did a? Hang on, let me get my mouse to work here so I can see what they said.
To kill
previously.
a mocking hawk.
To kill a mocking hawk. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't say Harper Lee, and that's probably my favorite American novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. But I didn't say Harper Lee because I thought Atticus Sappington might be a little too on the nose for Harper Lee. I mean, Atticus Finch is.
You were just thinking of the only other Atticus you could think of.
Only other Atticus, other than a dog.
There are some kids named Atticus now. That's become kind of a popular name, I think, for boys.
All right, let's get to the elitist part of the.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Look at Hassel. Okay, if you're just listening, he has 2 CBS Sports helpers with him. One is a designated umbrella holder. I mean, and as you can see, this is Hassel. He's probably taking a selfie, and now he's sending it out to his followers as someone else has to hold the umbrella. He's not working here. I mean, he does have
probably sending a highly inappropriate text to us.
I would guess that. And what this really fashionable coat here, I guess it doesn't.
He's found a video on Instagram of a fat guy draining the ocean with a cannonball,
and he's sending it to people. While the 2 women here are both getting somewhat wet because they're not fully under the umbrella like Hassel is.
They got hoods up.
Yeah, they do have hoods up, but it looks like they're both wearing jeans, which is not a. And what's this pea coat that Hassel's got going here? That's not an Iowa winter coat. That's a I'm on camera and I need to look good coat.
Is that like one of those barber waxed canvas coats that like the royal family wears? Those are pretty cool. I think it might be. Yeah, those are
you think you might be jealous? Let's get to the Iowa State TCU surprise. This was not the outcome I expected. Many people expected. Full credit to the Cyclones. That's a pretty good TCU team to go to TCU after losing 4 in a row. And I thought it was interesting too that this is the way this goes. But Andy, What's Bugging Andy last week got so much attention. I mean, more than 100,000 views, and it was both applauded by Cyclone fans, and in some case, it upset Cyclone fans because they felt like it was disrespectful or you shouldn't be talking like that. And your point was that they should be playing better and coaching better, and that the fans deserve better. And I would say they just went out and proved you right because they played better, they coached better, and they won the game. And that full credit for that. And that was a big win for Matt Campbell and company. But that's a team that should not have lost 4 in a row. They're just as banged up now, if not more banged up than they were for those 4 games.
Yeah. And it's funny. I don't know how you watched this game, but I had recorded this one and watched the whole Iowa game and then went and watched this one. And I didn't know what happened. I had totally stayed in the dark. So I had no idea. And I watched this just as like a gravy game. Like, okay, they're Iowa lost to Oregon. Iowa State's definitely losing this game at TCU. They're going to lose, but I gotta watch it anyway. I want to see what happens. And then as I'm watching along, I'm just like
playing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, they just kind of kept going. Rocco Beck didn't have a great game, but he hung in there.
He was inaccurate
with him. He was inaccurate,
but he was a leader.
Dropped passes again.
Big run.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, they just, and I was just kind of in the back of my head the whole time, I'm thinking, I wonder if Iowa State, because I think there are a lot of people that were watching that game that same way, whether it was live or later after they watched the Iowa game, like I did. I think a lot of people watched the game that way, where there was no pressure on Iowa State. They were watching it with no expectations. And I kept wondering, I was like, can the Cyclones feel that here? Because they're playing like that. They just kind of kept playing along. They were making plays. They were missing a few, but they kind of just kept chugging.
It's been called a culture win, and I think that's fair because when you lose 4 in a row, the locker room can come apart.
Yeah.
You can lose the players. And clearly Matt Campbell, John Haycock, Taylor Mouser, they have not lost the players.
No, it looked like they kind of lost the handle on that game. And I thought, okay, well, this is probably where they start feeling that pressure and they tense up and they just blow it and they end up losing by a wide margin. Nope. As John Haycock was saying in the post game, they just kept swinging the pick.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And, they got a few plays. Right. And we've just been talking about how Iowa needed these few plays that they didn't get. Well, sometimes you do get them, and Iowa State got a few plays when they needed the most, but they kept themselves in position to not only make those plays, but let those plays be the difference in the game. Right. I mean, they weren't down 21 points when they were making those plays.
Let's get to the plays because the first touchdown by Iowa State is an all-timer for Goosebumps.
Beck looks to throw. He looks and looks. Now fires, caught by Bramer. Inside the 10, inside the 5, fighting for the goal line. Touchdown, Benjamin Bramer. How about that?
Yeah, he took everybody's breath away last week for a different reason.
Just carted off the field.
Collapsed, carted off the field. Yeah. Wasn't a head injury, as we could see watching the replays. So he felt good about that. Then when he was released from the hospital right away, started to feel like, okay, he is going to be okay. It scared everybody. But it was, he said, a bruised lung, which is serious. But he came back and played a week later and scored the first touchdown. And he was on about the 3-yard line when he stretched, and he got the ball all the way to the end zone. That was really cool. So
I was wondering if he thought, oh man, I'm at the 3. I could go down here and we'll score. No. Wait a minute. We won't score. I got to score now.
Yeah, he did.
Red zone problems, man. I got to get this thing done now. He just reached out, gave it a little bit more, and got across the goal line. That was huge.
Back-to-back touchdowns by TCU put the Cyclones down 11, but Iowa State has an answer.
A give goes to Hansen, up the middle, touchdown. Carson Hansen. Floor backpedaling, takes it at the 21, angles to the middle, across the 30, 35, 40. Here goes Flora, across the 50, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown! Aiden Flora takes it all the way, and the Cyclones take the lead. What a play!
John Walters on the call, courtesy of Learfield. John Walters, voice of the Cyclones, and boy, it came through. His excitement on that play by Aiden Flora, who is a walk-on from ADM, a Central Iowa team. He should be on scholarship soon. And a good game for Carson Hansen running the football.
Another good game. I mean, he's had a great season.
Iowa State wins it 20-17. Bowl eligible now. And after the game, the Cyclones talked about big special teams play.
It all started with just trusting that punt return team. Coaches said that we're going to get our shot. We just have to be prepared for that. And without them, that couldn't have happened. And, coach trusting in me to let me return it. And yeah, it's surreal.
It was awesome. It hasn't happened here since Trevor Ryan and against Kansas. So in 2017. So, for that to happen, and man, he's been close this year early in the season, and then we lost him for a while. And for that young guy, he's just keeps showing he's a critical piece of our football team.
It's a testament to his work ethic. I mean, he's been working all fall camp. Nobody sees what this guy does behind closed doors. So I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of the guys that are also working on the return team. We've been harping for weeks to give this guy a chance. I mean, the return team did an awesome job, and then Aiden just finished it off.
And Iowa State wore yellow pants. It had been a while. And now
I thought that was a sharp uniform. Yeah, I thought that looked sharp.
Yeah, I think that looked good,
pants
too.
Didn't match the helmet. I know you're not a fan of those uniforms.
But the helmet has some yellow accents on it. I thought it was a sharp look, too. And I just like it when Iowa State mixes the school colors in with the uniform. So,
black and white, no more the monochromatic stuff like that. Yeah. And honestly, it just looked like those guys were having fun.
Yeah, playing loose,
kept on going. Would really like the receivers to catch the football.
Had a few more drops.
I mean, those guys think of themselves as capable of playing on Sundays. Well, you can't do that the NFL isn't going to take a second look at you if you drop passes like that. You keep dropping passes like that.
And you need to pick your quarterback up right now. I mean, he's been having some confidence problems, and when he does put it on the numbers, catch it.
But the naked bootleg call was just great.
Yeah, it was.
It was just a game where, hey, man, let's go out, have fun playing football. The team that we've got on the field is the team we got on the field. Stop worrying about all this other kind of stuff. And who knows? I mean, that was a season-saving win in the way that you've kept everybody engaged.
Keep the fans.
For at least another week. I mean, really engaged. Like really enjoyed watching that football game. And everybody loves a special teams touchdown. And those are so much fun. And it's been, as Campbell pointed out, it's been a while since you'd seen that kind of stuff.
And there's another off week, and it sure is better to have 2 weeks. But, you get 2 weeks between games, and you have a good memory instead of a bunch of angst.
Sure.
So, works out. That's the Nostalgia Rewind, presented by Barntown's Nostalgia THC Seltzers. You can interact with others on YouTube. On X, it's Murph_Andy. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. And it's powered by the Cellular Advantage, teaming up now with T-Mobile, #1 ranked national plan, #1 ranked Iowa plan. Some more hot topics as we continue to talk about the weekend weather. It was raining hard for most of Kinnick Stadium, but check out Fort Dodge for Iowa Central and Independence. Eric Pratt sent this photo. And Tritons, Iowa Central, they go on to win this game 30-0, but that is not that far from Iowa City, but a completely different game and very scenic.
Well, we had the big fat snowflakes going for a while here in West Des Moines, but they didn't really stick like that. I mean, that's just legit.
Sticking.
That's legit. That's snow.
Yeah. Shout out Triton Nation. But that had nothing. That had nothing on the D2 JUCO Cross Country Nationals from Fort Dodge. Darren Trombley sent this video of the toughest turn. No one was hurt that we know of. And some of the parents of runners said that, this will be a lifetime memory. A lot of meets you forget, but they won't forget running in this one. But man, you schedule a cross country meet in Fort Dodge. This can happen. Look, man, there's some tough balls here.
Yeah, Amanda, that's like getting mud up in your crack.
Oh yeah,
it's like cold mud too.
Yeah, now you're all wet the rest of the, race.
Yeah, cross country is a tough sport. Yeah, that's when they point out how it's tough. I think they always kind of point out the conditions, especially
yeah.
in this part of the country.
Some folks figured it looks like it's better to come down low and go wide.
Yeah.
Get into that snow a little bit. Get off that.
A couple of these guys are able to take that tight turn, though. They got a good lead there.
Oh man, that's a slide. There's gonna be.
I want to see this one guy one more time here. Whoa! No, I got it. Whoa! He just keeps falling all the way out of the frame.
Thanks for sending that video. We're gonna have a new 5A state champion in football. Southeast Polk Rams have won all 4 5A championships beginning in 2021, back to back to back to back. And again, it looked like the Rams might get back to the Dome again. They had the lead with inside of 2 minutes to go, but Liberty does end up winning that game. So in Class 5A, it's going to be Valley Dowling in the semifinals. That's a 4 p.m. game Friday.
And Northwest.
Waukee Northwest against Liberty. So Northwest against Liberty. And first time, all of these games can be watched for free. Now, all of the semifinal football games from 8-man all the way through 5A, beginning Wednesday. And you can go.
You guys are doing both those games, right?
We're doing the 5A semifinals, but you can watch any of the games in HD by getting the WHO 13 Plus app. You can also watch on 13.4. That's the weather channel. But the HD WHO 13 Plus, you download that. It's free, and then you can watch all the semifinal games. And then the championship games are on IPTV.
IPTV, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The following week. So
watch all that stuff. Yeah, for free.
Yeah, that's nice. Coin flip for the playoffs in Texas high school football. 3 teams tied. So I had read Buzz Bisinger's book, Friday Night Lights, so I knew this was real. But many people, when they watched the movie and the towns got together, the Friday Night Lights movie, and they had a coin flip, find out which team was going to break the tie and get put in the playoffs, there were people that thought, like, okay, that's a little much for fiction here. But it's real. This is what they do. They gather at a gas station and have a coin flip. Wild.
Yeah,
Amarillo won.
Why would you gather at a gas station? You got that nice flat concrete. You got plenty of lighting. You got, I don't know, beers and smokes if you need them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. You got some photographers there.
Yeah.
Got Amarillo by morning.
Do it at night. Yeah, I guess that's it. And well, I mean, they do. They take their gas seriously down in Texas.
And how many? I think in this photo, is there just two guys in boots? Right? Everybody else is in their
one guy for
football
sure.
Footwear.
Yeah, there's two, at least two.
Yeah.
It looks like boots.
2 guys in boots. People checking their phone. Boy, that'd be a tough coin flip to lose. How'd you guys get in the playoffs? No, we lost the coin flip by the gas pump at Valero.
You can't argue though. I mean, you see the coin, everybody looks at the coin, then they flip it, and they see it right there in front of them on that flat concrete.
The Jets won again against the Browns, and what a game for Cyclones. Andy, we've been around long enough to remember when the Cyclones you just didn't hear the name of former Cyclones on NFL Sundays. You didn't. It was very rare.
No, to use a highlight, there was a second-string linebacker who made a tackle in the second half of some blowout game, and we happened to be recording it, and we were able to show it. But these are like select highlights from the weekend.
Yeah, this is one team, the Jets, and Breece Hall has a 42-yard touchdown. Kene Wangu, 99-yard touchdown return. And then Will McDonald had 4 sacks in this game. And the Jets needed all of this. I mean, that's a cool moment for Cyclone fans. Many people, especially, well, I don't know. Scott Sipker's kind of a pessimist about the Bills. But many people are shocked that the Dolphins not only upset the Bills, but did it pretty easily. Here on Murph and Andy, we're not shocked because we knew that Mike McDaniel had changed the strategy in a way that usually works out. He took out the Papa-Shot machine last week. And as soon as I knew
that Papa-Shot was the problem.
Yep. as soon as they took out the Papa shot out of the locker room, like, oh, Dolphins are going to beat the Bills. And then it happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you're a Bills fan, this is just maddening. I mean, just the inconsistency. This team is so good. And you know that when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, I mean, you got a window, right? And it's only happened for so long.
Good point.
Been so many years now where it looks like this is absolutely a Super Bowl caliber team, if not a championship caliber team, and they just can't get there. There's something that happens, and sometimes it's just some, fluky play, or the fact that they're going up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, or sometimes it's just like in situations like this where they lose a game that they shouldn't lose. So, man, those Bills fans, as if the weather weren't hard enough on them up there.
Confluence, the official beer of Murph and Andy. Confluence proudly serving the new light lager, Old Tavern. It's available most everywhere. If you don't see Old Tavern, please ask for it. They'll get it in there for you. Now, on a Monday, let's get some more.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Known for the next couple of months as Tinsel, the place to go to see the holiday lights and have a fantastic dinner and drinks at the corner of 6222 Grand Avenue, basically the corner of Grand and 1st Street, at the edge of Des Moines and West Des Moines. Either Or. Let's start with something good.
Good.
Tell me something good. These are from our friend Garen Zanker up in Jewel. He helped put together that group of investors to keep the one and only grocery store anywhere near Jewel open. He left his successful career at Fairway to run the grocery store there. And he just kind of keeps making it better and better, and he's so proud of it. It's funny. He likes to send these pictures. They had this new mural painted on the side of the Jewel Market. And,
South Hamilton Hawks.
Yeah. You got it painted by an artist named Sandy Teague. I think that's how you say her last name. All the towns of South Hamilton County are represented in the mural. See, if you look really close, you can tell the difference in the grain elevators. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Very, very cool. The little things to keep that place alive. Good job, Garen.
Are those the Hawks, the basketball uniforms we wore for the video RV TV where none of us could make a basket? And the elderly lady came out and landed a hook shot.
Wasn't that? We were in, which town was that? Eldridge? No.
I know those uniforms are Hawks, and they were, I don't remember, boy.
What was the name of the town that we were there?
I digress. Back to more.
Ellsworth, right?
That was Ellsworth. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Probably.
And I think that was the name of the high school, because back then everybody just had their own high school, I believe.
The good old days.
Oh, anyway. For the first time since the height of the pandemic, there were more than 2,000 flights canceled in the United States yesterday. Unbelievable. It does look like we're getting closer to ending the government shutdown, but
thank goodness.
My goodness, what a mess. Mount Kilauea in Hawaii is erupting. All sorts of footage of this, like this molten lava just flowing downhill. The United States Geological Survey, the USGS, thinks this could be the biggest eruption since the 1980s. And in this day and age, with everyone having a camera on them, we can really capture every single part of the eruption, including its dramatic start. Okay, so now it's dark and it's kind of hard to see, but if you look very closely, you'll see the Earth's core really express itself.
The volcano's erupting. That's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, Kilauea.
Has Pierce Brosnan been called in yet?
Probably not. I mean, it's not that uncommon, but it's a big deal. It's crazy, man. Just the video that they get there of Kilauea. 50 years ago today, Lake Superior was looking like this.
I'm expecting to be flipped off.
It's not an ocean. Look at that. Gigantic waves up to 30 feet.
How is that a lake?
It is.
Wow.
It's the source of 10% of the world's fresh water. That is an incredibly wide and deep lake. It just nuts. So it's looking like this 50 years ago today. And unfortunately, the Edmund Fitzgerald was out in it. 20 to 30-foot waves tossed the giant iron ore ship around like a bathtub toy, tore it in half, and sank it. Only about 15 miles from Whitefish Point, Michigan, where it could have found some cover from the wind and waves. You can see right there, they're just trying to make it to that point there, and they've almost made it.
Yeah.
Really close as they're going to Sault Ste. Marie, which is right on the Canadian border, going to go through the locks there into Lake Huron. All 29 members of the crew died. Gordon Lightfoot, of course, released his famous song on the Edmund Fitzgerald, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald a year later. Then in the 1980s, several sophisticated dive teams made their way down 530 feet to the Lake Superior floor to photograph the wreckage, including one team headed up by Jean-Michel Cousteau, the son of the famous Jacques Cousteau. In 1989, actual 3D images were captured of the Edmund Fitzgerald on the lake floor. And you can see much of these photos along with the actual bell from the Edmund Fitzgerald at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in Paradise, Michigan, which is
I would enjoy that.
It's really a really cool museum. It's a long way out of the way. It's all the way up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but it's so beautiful up there, a very underrated part of the country. And they are holding a special ceremony today marking the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. It started at 1 p.m. And by the way, there are at least 240 other ships lying at the bottom of Lake Superior in the same general area.
Really?
As the Edmund Fitzgerald. So
240.
Lake Superior, there are at least 350 shipwrecks in Lake Superior right now. And that is a tough lake. Tough. And it hasn't gotten any easier.
No scratching boat rides on Lake Superior off my list.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing in the summer, but boy, in November, the gales of November.
It's like a cross-country race in Fort Dodge.
Yeah, it is. Police were called to a Fort Pierce, Florida Goodwill store after a worker discovered a grenade in the drop-off bin.
Ooh.
Bomb squad responded, confirmed it was indeed real. No word on whether or not it was live, but police did remove it. Cops are investigating how the grenade got into the bin.
I played a football game at Fort Pierce. This tracks.
It does. People put anything in the Goodwill bins. I mean, a lot of times they don't consider. Now, is somebody else really going to find value in this? But maybe somebody's like, look, I got this old World War II grenade, and I don't want it anymore. So maybe somebody else would want it.
There's somebody going through our stuff right now going, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but when it's a grenade, I think you got to take extra
Yeah, that's
precautions.
a little different.
This is from MORE staffer Otts in Melbourne, Australia. He contacts me regularly. We bring you a classic moment in Aussie boxing. And it looks exactly like you would expect Aussie boxing to look. Keep your eyes on the referee, who is a former boxer himself. And he starts out just trying to restore some order.
And now the champ's gone a bit wild, and Bernie Hall has actually pulled him. Oh, here's a real go. You won't see this too often. One of the cornermen, the fight's still going, and one of the cornermen from Timmelkoff's corner, Sharky Raymond, the referee, is trying to stop it. The cornerman's down. Sharky Raymond is now fighting with one of the cornermen. The fight will have to win. Sharky Raymond throwing everything. Bernie Hall is now throwing punches. There are other people in the ring. There must be 20 people in the ring. Punches flying everywhere. Where will this end? The two fighters, what's happened to?
Where are the fighters?
Fighter we've found. The other fighter, Ken Salisbury, right out of the ring. He's been dragged out of the ring. The other fighter, the champ, Timmelkoff, has stayed in the ring. What will happen here? Sharky Raymond, the referee, had to do what he did. He had to fight off one of the cornermen who was throwing punches at him. Here's Ken Salisbury back in the ring, and the referee has declared Ken Salisbury the winner.
It's the winner.
The new Australian champion. And we have one of the most sensational finishes to any fight in Australian recent history.
I was expecting a kangaroo, so that was not what I saw coming at all. That's wild. That's like WWE, but it was all real.
How about the guy that just goes Jackie Chan, like comes in with a half shirt on and comes just flying in?
Flying in,
Watch
yeah.
this. He's like, what's going on? He's right here.
Oh, my God, yeah.
He totally misses, by the way. What's he doing?
And then, is this a guy, one of the guys comes up and he looks like he's in
And then
a
the ref
disco
just starts
outfit.
throwing. Look at the ref. Look at the ref.
Oh, he's going
game.
hockey moves. He's pulling his shirt up over his head.
He pulls his shirt. Oh, the guy lands an uppercut and the ref comes back.
One guy looked like he pissed
Australia.
his pants. You see that guy?
Yeah, he's got a big stain on his pants. Good stuff, Otts. Finally today, from the bowels of Instagram, Mike has not dated for a while, but he feels like he is ready for that to change.
Oh, hold on.
There you got to look at him. That's Mike. Here's what he has to say.
My name is Michael Flannery. I'm also known as Psycho Mike, owner of Psycho Mike's Beach Body Shop on Venice, living in Van Nuys. Yeah, I'm looking for a date, girlfriend, wife, long-term relationship. I mean, I'm looking for somebody who likes me for me. Somebody who not only understands Psycho Mike, but she understands Michael Flannery. How would I describe myself? Physically, as a work in progress, as are we all. We're all works in progress. So the key to a good relationship with Psycho Mike is dealing with Psycho Mike. Nothing gets in his way. I mean, relationship, what, don't ask me, do you want an omelet? Make an omelet. Make an omelet, all right? Psycho Mike is impervious to emotions. He thinks emotions are for the weak. He thinks that there's no such thing as good things or bad things, only things. And it's your reaction to them that determines what's good or bad.
Psycho Mike he's going to wait a while.
He's single, Murph.
Is he?
Andrew, it's been a while since Psycho Mike has made a connection.
Yeah.
I bet.
It took a while.
Don't ask me for an omelet. Don't ask me if I want an omelet. Make an omelet.
Just make an omelet. Make an omelet.
That's your more, everybody.
The Iowa Wild are home this Friday for Star Wars night at the KC Center. Star Wars mystery pucks, proceeds from sales support Special Olympics Iowa, which is awesome. Visit the Iowa Wild ticket packages page to secure your game ticket. An exclusive glow sword at the game. So Star Wars fans, you want a glow sword? Go to the game Friday night. Time now for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto brings us Throwdowns each and every show. They're treating you like family in Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, Creston, and Ankeny, an authorized dealer of both Firestone and Bridgestone tires.
And let me say this, you got a few days of dry weather right now to make sure you got good tires on your car, but we got a taste over the weekend of how ugly it is when your tires need replacing and you haven't done it yet. Use this week to hit up Heartland Tire and Auto. Make sure your tires are set for the Iowa winter.
It's scary the first time you come up to a stop sign and hit the brakes and you just kind of keep sliding.
Yes.
Yeah, don't let that happen to you. Murph, Iowa was ranked 20th in the first college football playoff rankings after losing to 9th-ranked Oregon on a late field goal. Will the Hawkeyes stay in the rankings tomorrow night?
I don't think so. I think they're going to fall just out of the 25. I think if they had this outcome at Oregon, they would still stay at 25, but it's a home loss. And what's Iowa's best win? Penn State?
Yeah.
And Penn State is what in the Big Ten, 0-6?
Yeah, so I guess their best win's probably Minnesota.
I think they'll stay in. I think Missouri falls. Missouri lost to Texas A&M.
Washington lost to Wisconsin.
There are some other losses here.
Yeah,
so
I think they'll stay in.
Okay.
Barely.
Okay. Andy, record-wise, the AFC North is the worst division in the NFL. The Steelers are atop the standings, but the Ravens have won 3 in a row after starting 1-5. Which AFC North team makes the playoffs?
I think it's Well, I mean, if you watched and reminded of what a difference Lamar Jackson makes yesterday, I think you'd have to say it was the Ravens. I mean, that they are just a completely different team with him in the lineup and healthy. Yeah, I'll go with the Ravens.
I'll go with the Ravens too. I think they're going to win this division.
All right, Murph. This morning I had to fish out all of our winter coats and winter hats and gloves and things like that to send the kids to school. How warmly do you dress just to go to like work or run an errand? You're not going to go stand outside, but like home to the car to wherever. How warmly do you dress in 20, 30 degree weather?
Minimal. I mean, I have a coat or something like that, and I usually keep clothes in the trunk, so if something were to happen, but I just want to get in and out of buildings quickly and not be all layered up like you needed to be to go to Kinnick Stadium Saturday. I never dress like that unless I'm going to sit in it.
Yeah, I mean, as minimally as possible. I mean, there are days where I wear a scarf and gloves and it's super cold and stuff. Like right now, I got like a quick light down jacket and that's it.
I went stocking cap, gloves. If I can avoid being cold, even on the walk to the car, I will avoid being cold.
I can't wear stocking caps because it messes up my hair.
Yeah, me too, but I deal with it. That's Throwdowns.
Oh, nicely done. A reminder, speakpipe.com/Murph _Andy is how you tell us what's bugging you. And you can do it anytime. Presented by Consumer Credit of Des Moines. We'll play What's Bugging You on our show Friday. Time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, powered by Game Day Men's Health. I go to the one in Ankeny in the Prairie Trail neighborhood. There's a West Des Moines location on University, location in North Liberty where Scott Doctorman goes. I did the Hawks on Tap show with Chad Leistico on Friday night. Man, he's looking better than ever. He says he feels like he's in his 30s. The Game Day is really working out for him. Ran a half marathon for the first time in his life.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, let Game Day do for you what it's done for Chad Leistico. And if you saw that shirtless picture of Chris Williams, I mean, how can you not want to be more like that? Chris Hassel was back at Kinnick this weekend. And if you're a young local reporter, especially one who was in the same job Hassel was in just 10, 12 years ago, you'd like to have a little advice from a national television personality like Chris Hassel. Well, here's how that went.
Hey, look at this. Look who it is. It's Chris Hassel. Chris, hi, I'm David Warren.
Hey, David. I have your old job. At Hardee's in Muscatine?
No, your old TV job.
At ESPN?
No, WHO 13 in Des Moines.
You didn't look like the network type. Hey, little piece of advice. Keith and Andy suck. Don't let them suck your soul from you. Get out of there as fast as you can.
Hardee's and Muscatine.
Hardee's and Muscatine.
That's a great line.
ESPN? No, WHO 13. Get away from Murph and Andy as soon as possible.
It's just
yeah. And by the way, the music was loud enough at Kinnick Stadium there. If you were wondering, is that loud enough? Took me a while to edit around that. Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
Yeah, who do you blame more in the latest carriage dispute? Yeah, Disney losing this one decisively. 95% blame Disney. 5%, actually less than 5%, say it's YouTube's fault.
Jeez, man. Rough times, Disney. Get this settled. All right, thank you for watching Murph and Andy here on Iowa Everywhere. We do appreciate it. Love it if you could like and subscribe. AD, quick programming note here, because I know Chris Hassel is one of those people who is inconvenienced by the canceled flights. So they had to cancel 2 guys today. So they're going tomorrow morning?
They're going tomorrow morning, and then since they're pushing their first show back, they're going to push their second show back and go live Thursday night. So tomorrow morning, 8:30, and then Thursday night at 7 for 2 guys this week.
Okay, good to know. We're back Wednesday. We hope you are too.